Good evening, everyone, and welcome to RVing in New England.
My name is
It's
Bob
Wednesday.
McCombie.
I think it's Wednesday night, John.
You know what? I think it's still Tuesday night because everything we were waiting for Tuesday night hasn't come to any conclusion. Although this is a politics-free show,
Absolutely, none of that stuff tonight.
and it
None.
just so happens we have blue shirts on, but that's purely coincidental
Right.
because we're in separate locations, and I don't dress you, and you don't dress me, nor do we tell each other what to wear.
No, not at all. That would be kind of boring.
Yeah, yeah.
Jerry Plant has joined us. So Jerry, that note's for you also. There will be no politics discussed tonight. Right? Period. We've had enough.
Although we can't really tell our guests what to say because that's censorship.
Well, that's true. And Jerry, did you send me the other email address? John and I both responded to you on that woman that needs an inspector.
Oh yeah.
Dante,
yeah, send it.
Dante's on with us. Good evening, Dante from Windham, Maine. And
yes, a voice from the past.
Yes, yeah, from Windham, Maine. Don from Athens, Texas. How is everything at the Texan Ranch? Are you doing just campground stuff, Don, or are you doing stuff with the training academy and the inspector academy and what have you? And Jesse Brissett, Jesse, great to have you on. I hope your parking lot is still not so empty that you can land an aircraft behind the building there, but hopefully you started to fill in the inventory. Walter, good evening to all in Walter.
Walter, we were just talking about you a moment ago. We said Walter's the only guy that we know that can drive to Florida faster than most people can fly.
That's true.
And Walter is heading back to Florida.
Yeah, go for 6 weeks, Walter. How are you going to pack up your entire IT lab that's on your desk at home and take it to Florida with you? Or being the engineer that you are, have you duplicated that same setup in Florida? And Mark Polk is joining. Hey, Mark, how you doing down there?
Okay.
Good to have you with us.
Bob, we should tell our people right about now that this is a special show because we're going to give them the opportunity to kind of take over the show, and you and I will go back and sit up in the balcony. So were you going to put that link up there? Look at, there's a link. Copy that link. I don't know if it's clickable, but
I'll put a clickable one
over
in. Right. I'll put a clickable, copy, paste, come over here, type something here, put it there, and send it off to there. So yeah, there will be a clickable link if somebody wants a little FaceTime tonight and wants to join us. And
time out. They have to be fully clothed.
Well, that's true. No tubing monas tonight.
They have to wear pants.
Yep.
And they have to be fully clothed. They can say whatever they want, but we'll put them on. If we find that they don't meet our standards, then they're off on the cutting room floor. They're gone.
Yeah. So
let me join us.
So Don says finishing up my. What is it? Oh, finishing up my rehab. Oh, yep. All right, good. Then
remember he got the new shoulder.
Yeah, he got the new shoulder. Been working in the campground. All right.
He told me that Pat has been giving him the cold shoulder for the last few years. So he had to get a new shoulder because it was frozen.
Did you see Walter's comment? I have a storage. I believe this. I'm sure he's not joking with us. I have a storage and locker in Florida with lots of equipment.
What kind of equipment, Walter? What kind of equipment?
Computer equipment. What the hell do you think he's got? It's computer equipment.
He can take that down with him. I mean, it fits in the car.
But he can't if he's sitting in the car. He's not taking the fifth wheel down with him. Hello, Maria. Glad to have you join us. Walter says, I got good news today. UPS is delivering my manuals from the RV Technical Institute tomorrow. That's fantastic. So let me tell you. No. Time out. We got some people that may not be familiar with this type of show. Every once in a while, John and I just do a show with John and I. So there are no guests tonight. So this is your show. You can ask whatever you want. You can join us live if you want to click on that link that I posted up there. This is your show. We will talk about whatever you want to talk, as long as you honor the politics-free zone. There will be no, and I'm not going to answer that call right now. So there will be no politics. This is all about camping. It's all about fun. You can talk about whatever you want, quite honestly. So go ahead. What was the timeout for?
So here's what Walter's going to do. Walter's going to grab the manuals and have a red pen and circle everything that's wrong and send it back to RVTI and say, I demand that you change that. Right, Walter?
Well, hey, Rick Kessler, glad you could join us. Hey, we gotta, really commend Kessler. See, you're so out of touch, DePietro. You probably didn't catch this last weekend. DePietro, who won the Michigan State-Michigan game, football game, on Saturday?
I'll say Michigan State.
You're lucky. It's a good guess. But yeah, Michigan State actually beat Michigan. So that was Saturday. Today's Wednesday. Kessler's going to still be celebrating. He probably hasn't seen Sherm for the whole week.
That was probably just a pinball game. It wasn't a real football.
No. They just didn't beat them. They kicked their ass. They did a really nice job.
Okay.
Lost the audio. Are you back, Jerry? John did lose the audio for a little bit.
I did? No, I didn't.
Walter's like me. He always finds mistakes. We
have to thank Kessler.
I click into editor mode and find that. But let's explain what Walter has done. Brad Moore from Bradford RV. Hi, Brad. And Brad, Brad's in mourning this week. You know why Brad's in mourning this week, John?
He had to put the boat away.
He put the boat away. It's in the storage area out back, and that's it. But you know what was amazing? And correct me if I'm wrong, Brad, but that boat is 37 years. I think it's 37 years old. It looks brand new. It's like a B-52 bomber. It looks brand new.
Brad's twice as old as the boat.
Probably so.
Yeah.
So let me tell you what Walter did. For those of you that missed our program with Kurt Hemmler a few weeks ago, with the RVTI, the RV Technical Institute, it's now open to consumers. So consumers can enroll in the Level 1 online streaming training program, and Walter has done that, or at least to the point, so you can purchase the books, you can try to test out and what have you. But Walter has done that so that he can be a more informed RV consumer. Not that he isn't already, because, we can always tell the engineers in the campground. How do we tell the engineers in the campground, John?
Well, they usually have shorts with black knee socks on and sandals. That's one way. The pocket protectors is a way. In their dark-colored sleeveless T-shirts, they wear those too.
Yeah, but they do have the pocket protector is a big giveaway.
It is.
That and the suspenders, because you get like somebody like Martin Quayle out there, and he's got his suspenders and his farmer pants on,
and a belt as well.
So Brad, I got to read the big screen. Brad says built it new from Howe and deck in our shop in 1983. So that's 17, 20, 37 years. You actually built that? Wow, I didn't know that. See what you learn when you tune into RVing, and you actually built that I assume with your father?
No, his father did it, and he just
he just grabbed the tools. Brad, give me the hammer.
Give me the hammer.
Brad, give me the paint, or the fiberglass coating or something.
Bob, I just saw Audrey join us. If I recall correctly, she just had a birthday within the last couple of days, right, Audrey? You just had your 30th birthday.
I didn't see that.
I think that
maybe
is what she was just saying. Rick Kessler, the engineers are drinking craft beer. Us schlubs are drinking domestic. Schlub. Now there's a new word. That must be a Midwestern word.
That's got to be a Michigan term. Yeah. Bruce Flanders. Hey guys, hey, glad to have you, and congratulations again on selling the dealership to Jeff Hirsch and Ben Hirsch and the boys at Campers Inn. They spoke highly of you when we had Ben Hirsch on the program last week, the week before.
Couple weeks.
So I know everybody up there is excited, and it's a good partnership for both of you. So I will. By the way, Bruce, I am home from Maine now, so let me know when you want me to come up for coffee and donuts. I'm pretty flexible with the schedule. I got to get back out there and see people.
Wait a minute. We're changing the format a little bit, but it doesn't mean that Brad Moore can talk to Bruce Flanders directly on our line.
He's got his own conversation going.
Brad, if you want to talk to Bruce, ask Bob a question, and Bob will ask it. It's talk show discourteousness. There's a new word. It's not courteous. It's rude to talk to somebody else in the audience while there's a show going on, Brad. We expect you to take full concentration to what we're talking about, which basically obviously shows that there's nothing. Bob's got a nice picture up there. Is that a Revel one?
That is a Revel. That is a Revel, and Winnebago got a pretty high-profile client this week. For those of you who have known me for a while have probably heard me talk about David Merman Scott, who is the #1 authority on sales and marketing and PR. In 2007, wrote the world-famous bestseller called The New Rules of Marketing and PR, and that is now in its seventh edition, 26 languages. And he also, if you remember, I talked about Fanocracy, one of his most recent books, which happens to have a section on RVs in it and happens to quote one of the two people on the screen tonight. And I'll give you a hint. It's not John DePietro. I don't want to give it away, but it's not John DePietro, but David Merman Scott just took delivery of his Winnebago Revel. Oh, wow, you outclassed me there. Mine's buried someplace.
Fanocracy.
He just took delivery of his Winnebago Revel from Lee's Family Trailer Sales in Maine on last Saturday, and he is delighted, and he's going to go hiking and biking. He's a surfer. He's almost like a world-class surfer, and he was going to buy a product not sold by any one of our dealers. So I said, you know what? I got to hook you up with this, and you got to see what the Revel does. And this is still one of the best motorhomes on the market today. You might wait 6 months. I noticed that Dwayne Cyrus joined us.
As soon as you said Revel in Winnebago, like on cue,
Dwayne popped up.
Dwayne Cyrus, and we got to say that Dwayne is one of the nicest guys in the RV business. And this past summer, when we were out with Winnebago Vita, I had a couple technical issues that they weren't technical. There weren't problems with the motorhome. There were problems with me because I couldn't figure out what buttons to push. And I think
that's always been your problem.
Yeah. Right? About 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night, I'm almost in Canada, and I called Dwayne expecting to get a voicemail, and he answered the phone and he walked me through it. He walked me off the ledge and said, okay, that button down there, press that button, and all of a sudden the lights came back on and everything was good. So
check out who else just popped up there. Mark Lebrecht. We haven't
talking about nice guys. Good evening, Jim.
Are you still? Well, I not assume you got to be in Florida, right, Mark? You getting ready with your Fort Myers Wonderland down there and getting ready for the winter? Good to have you join us. Frank Cates says, I usually have to, this is terrible. I usually have to wear a necktie on my Zoom meetings, but your show is much more casual, impromptu, so no tie. Well, thank you, Frank. Hope that's okay.
Frank, scroll up.
Jerry's ready to join the, Jerry's the first one to take us up on our, I got to get rid of this.
Okay, before you take Jerry up, we should tell our audience that just joined us that this is your chance, ladies and gentlemen, provided that you're fully clothed, to get on the show with us, just like Jerry has. right here. Jerry, you look a lot better with the lights off. There you are. Yeah, much better.
That's a good way to do it. Audrey says she's got a question for all you guys.
Okay.
We have, I'm going to read the big screen. We have a 2018 rig and just got a recall notice on the Freightliner chassis valve stem stabilizers for 2017, 2020 models. We lost a tire to this issue in 2019. What are our chances getting reimbursed for the tire and our cost to get the problem fixed? I know it's a long shot. Maybe not. Let's throw that one right at Jerry. You see how the timing is happening tonight without any practice whatsoever. People come into the show or they come up with. So Jerry Plant just joined us from Majors RV. Jerry, did you get the gist of that question, or can you see it?
No, I can't see the question, but they're looking at a tire recall.
Well, it looks like it's a recall notice on the FCC valve stem stabilizers for 2017, 2020 models. But in 2019, she lost a tire and would like to get reimbursed for the tire and also the associated cost to get the problem fixed. Does she have a chance?
Yeah, if they had a recall on it, yeah, those things are notoriously bad anyway. I had them on my Class A. And the weight of the tire pressure sensor senders ripped them off the hubs, and they were flailing around in the wind, and they finally started leaking.
Really?
Yeah.
So, so does she apparently probably go back to if she got it from Freightliner, would that be considered a chassis and a Freightliner repair or the dealer repair?
If it was put on by Freightliner, yes. But if it's aftermarket, if it's Wheelmaster, I think is the one that makes those extenders. She'd have to go back through Wheelmaster to get that done. But if it was put on by Freightliner, then yeah, the chassis manufacturer or the chassis builder is the guy to go back to.
Okay. All right. So stop chasing that down, Audrey. If you have any problems,
Jerry might have some addresses there, right? Jerry in the files.
Yeah, but I'm not at the office. I'm at home.
No, I don't mean now.
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah, David's the guy that handles all that warranty stuff.
Bob,
right,
we got a problem here with Brad.
Brad just jumped in and said he's talking about Dwayne. He says his dad Cecil was my Winnebago rep, the best. Now, Dwayne, don't let Brad hurt your feelings just because he told you that your father was a better rep than you are. Don't take that personally.
Well, that's only appropriate because we said Brad's father was a better carpenter than Brad. Now, see, here's what Brad's doing now. Brad's now talking to Mark Lebrecht.
Right, Brad. This is our being in New England with Brad Moore, and he carries on the conversations over in the comments,
right?
Because he's not on the screen.
I'm on with them.
Right. We got Carson Tager says, "Will there be an RV Expo in Boston this year?" No, it will not be this year, but it will be 2021, and we have moved the dates from January to April 15 to 18 at the Boston Convention Center, and we are writing up the dealers, we're laying out the floor plan, and we're getting ready, and hopefully we'll be there. I can tell you this, you might think that with the increased sales of the RV dealers that they don't want to show, but nothing could be further from the truth. Our dealers are really pent up because the reason they want a show is they understand that RVers like to go to a show and see and touch and feel and talk to the reps and talk to the manufacturing reps. So put it on your calendar for April 15 to 18, and we'll keep you posted on that stuff. Mark Lebrecht says, blah, blah. Hey, Mark, behave yourself. You haven't been here for 6 months, for Christ's sake, and now you're going to, give us a hard time.
Well, because Mark is spending all his time counting his money, just
Right.
like Mr. Flanders is counting his money. And Brad is asking, what do I have to do to count money?
Don't they know my telephone number? Right.
Brad's thinking 50 years in this business. I'm ready to move south. But Walter's got a very nice letter here. And Audrey, I hope you're listening here. But the point is this. I hope you kept all your paperwork, all the bills and everything that you compiled. Walter says, write a very nice letter to whoever's issuing the recall with details of the problem and see if they would cover the cost as part of the recall. And you know what? You got no chance of getting reimbursed unless you ask. And
Right.
you have less of a chance of being reimbursed if you go in pounding on the desk saying, don't you know who I am and pay me that, $700 for the tire and, blah, 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 as Mark just said, blah, 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 a few minutes ago. So, Audrey, dang it, we'll be in Myrtle Beach for the RV show. What are the dates again, Bob?
April 15 to 18.
Okay, I thought you
And
said.
we'll be co-located again with the auto show because that's what the contract calls for this year. So okay. So Mark, we forgive you, Mark. He said that comment was for Brad. Come on, Brad.
Come on, Brad. It's all what it's all.
It's all what it's cracked up to be. Meaning, I assume, retirement after you cash the check, Mark. Same thing with Bruce. But Bruce isn't retiring. Bruce is hanging on. So he's staying up there. So
Bruce is
Carson Tager
lottery tickets.
Carson Tager says, hey, John, guess I'll see you in 2021. So is he a member of your fan club? Because I don't recognize the name.
Carson, have we met? Tell us how we've met.
Do that.
No, obviously, if he's under 80, he can relate to me better than you.
All right, we got Jerry was kind enough to join us. I got to throw Frank's question over to Jerry. Jerry, Frank Cates, who has an Airstream, when he's down there on the Cape somewhere, and I told him to get over there and meet you guys and buy his supplies over there. What improvements would you make on your trailer? I find there's plenty of them once you put a few months and miles on the road. What improvements would you make on the trailer? I don't know. What do you think, Jerry?
Yeah. I mean, once you take your first long trip, you come back with a long list of woulda, shoulda, couldas, I guess is the best way to put it. We discovered that the person that, go ahead.
Go ahead. I know who Carson is. I just didn't know his last name.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. The person that came up with
that's our radio guy.
Yeah. Well, he's just trying to figure out when he can come back and make a talent fee for showing up for an hour and drinking Dunkin' Donuts coffee. And
oh yeah, Carson, yes, from
Carson.
Mix 104. So we'll get right back to you, Jerry. So for Bruce Flanders, Bruce usually hosts Carson for the coffee and the donuts one of the mornings of the show in a Jayco toy hauler, usually out on the deck. So thank you for joining, Carson. So now is Carson saying he won't be there, or he will be there?
No. That's Audrey. Carson.
Okay. Carson will be there. Okay, we'll make sure. All right. So April 15 to 18. Yeah.
Carson.
Okay, Jerry. Back to Jerry. So what?
Wait. I want to tell Carson. Scroll up, Carson. He spells it with a K. Typical. And see the link that Bob did. Join us on here when Jerry's done. You come on. Actually, we could get Carson on too, right, Bob? Just get rid of that logo.
Yeah, I can kill the other. Where the hell is it?
Carson, scroll up and come on. And remember, if you come on with us, there's no talent fee. You don't have to pay us.
Right.
Okay? Because people want to know what radio people look like. And usually,
I'm gonna do it again. Let me go up here and put it back again.
I'm a lifelong. That's right. He is an RVer. That's right.
That's right. He's not just another pretty face. He actually practiced. So there, I put it up again, Carson. It'll be down below.
But nobody's accused him of being a pretty face. Remember, he's on the radio.
So if you click on that, it will tell me, and I'll bring you into the program. So Jerry, Frank asked what improvements would you make, but that's kind of personalized, right? I mean, you had a generic answer, but how can you tell Frank or me or John what improvements based on what they find out about the lifestyle that they like or don't like, or the product that they like or don't like.
Yeah, well, like I said, the first long trip you take, you come back with a pretty good list of the stuff that you need to change. The top of our list was whoever came up with the idea of putting in carpet in an RV. Typical, never went RVing.
Right.
So we yanked that out and we put down vinyl strip, vinyl planking, and it was a tremendous improvement.
I still have shag carpeting in mine.
Yeah, it's amazing, and they still, a lot of them still do it in the slide outs. Is there a logical reason why they take it out of the entire coach or trailer, but still leave it in the slide out? Are they just using an inferior slide out mechanism?
No, it's just insulation is all it is.
Yeah, but a lot of these slide outs now are flat floor slide outs. So when they're out, you got a flat floor. But why would somebody? They would use it because of insulation, because it's on the outside.
because there's not much insulation underneath that slide out, so that tends to get colder than the rest of the coach.
Okay.
Good
All right.
point.
I'm going to kill my logo, and I'm going to go over here and see if I can find Carson. There he is.
I don't see him.
There he is. Hey,
There he is.
Carson, welcome to RVing in New England. See, Bruce Flanders make you jealous. See, we got Carson on here from Mix 104. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. You interrupted him with all these great questions. Jeez almighty.
I know, it's terrible, but they're flying fast and furious. We're already up to...
The conglomerate that you work for is going to be pretty upset that you're appearing in public without a logoed shirt to promote your radio station.
I think just kind of getting into the RVing right now with everything that's going on in the world, it just seems like, to me, from the outside, you guys are on the kind of the inside, but it seems like right now it is more popular than ever. And that even though, you don't have like the expo that's going to be happening, that I feel like people are looking for a place to go or a way to get away from everything in life, and like campers and RVs and camping in general has got to be just like one of the most popular things ever right now.
And you know what? You're right on all three counts. Number one, people are looking to get away. They're looking for a way to get away. And with an RV, they solve two. Remember the certs? It's a candy mint. It's a breath mint. It's two mints in one. Well, RVs and places to go. I mean, you don't even have to go anywhere. But if you're in your RV, I know you feel the same way. It's kind of a different mindset. Would you agree with that, ladies and gentlemen, audience, that you don't even have to have a destination, but if you're out in your RV, especially motorhomes.
Here's what's crazy. When the COVID hit, the manufacturers actually shut down. The industry didn't know how detrimental the pandemic was going to be to the industry. Right. And so they shut down for 4 to 6 weeks, and all of a sudden we start seeing the units flying off the lots, and the manufacturers are getting crazy orders, and they're breaking all kinds of records. And what we found that's crazy is over 50, for most of our dealers, including Bruce Flanders, 50 to 80% of their new sales throughout the summer were from first-time buyers who had never owned an RV and who had never been in a campground. And they just decided to say, hey, it's our bed, it's our bathroom, it's our kitchen, it's our family. If we're going to homeschool them, we're going to homeschool them from the road. We're not going to show them a picture of Yellowstone. We're going to take them to Yellowstone. It has been an incredible year, and it's not going to stop. We expect this run to go probably for 5 years, and we are projecting that next year in 2021, we will break the all-time record for RV sales in a single year and hit 507,000. And that's everything from the pop-up to the diesel pusher.
It had another effect on the parts, getting parts for the RVs too.
Yeah.
And something else we discovered is the large majority of people that had units with bathrooms in them that never used them until this year.
Why is that, Jerry?
Well, they always use the campground facilities instead of using instead of having to deal with the black tank and the gray tank and all of that.
So why are they coming into majors for those.
Well, they're buying tote tanks, sewer pipes, and water valves for toilets.
Oh, you're talking for the.
Because they were never because they
They
never
never
did
used
use
to.
them.
They never used a bathroom.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carson, come on, and the subject immediately goes to black tanks.
Well, so here's a question for you, and so in the middle of the pandemic, I actually sold my camper last. I had an R-Pod, the Forest River R-Pod, which I loved. I had it for about 3 years. One of the best campers I've ever owned. Had so much fun with it, and would get stopped all the time. People asking, "Oh, what is that?"
What is that?
Because of the shape of it, right? Because that
Yeah.
bubble look.
And you got the orange one too, right?
No. It was a green one. But people love the look of it, the shape of it, and because you could pull it with a, like I had a 4-door Jeep Wrangler that only had a 3,500 tow rating, so you could pull it with a smaller vehicle, and it had a bathroom and a shower. But so last year we sold it. We bought a house on the Cape, kind of the same thing. But I do have a question for you. So my father just bought a 2020. You were talking about them. What are the ones with the metal? What are the Airstream?
Airstream. Yep.
So I want to put a 50 amp thing, like
Inverter.
can I do?
So a 50 amp at the house.
Yeah. So we bought a house on the Cape down in near Katuitt. You do that? Can you put a?
Yeah. Let me grab Jerry. Jerry, where'd you go? We got a question for Cape Cod.
Okay. All right, I'm back.
All right, Jerry, Carson's father just bought an Airstream, and Carson bought a house on Cape Cod. So he wants to
In
install a 50 amp receptacle at the house for his father. Who do you recommend?
Randy Agnew, RCA Electric will do that.
Oh yeah. Is it expensive to do?
No. In fact, if you wanted if you have any electrical experience at all, you can just buy the parts and do it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Radio personality killed in a home explosion.
Yeah. The 50 amp is fairly easy to do. What happens with the 30 amp is it looks so much like a dryer plug. A normal electrician would wire it up for 240, which is a disaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you blow the house up. You got a nice Airstream outside, but you blow the house up.
No. It fries every piece of electrical equipment in the camper.
Yeah. He bought the. He kind of went back and forth. He bought a 2019. He bought the Airstream that was, but you drive it.
The motorhome.
The interstate. Yeah.
The interstate motorhome. Yeah. Class B motorhome. Yeah.
Printer.
So he bought that last year.
Didn't like it.
He didn't like it. He just it wasn't quite big enough for him, and so he traded that back in. I think got maybe like a 24 footer, and then didn't like that, and so he traded that one back in and got I think like the 30, and he just got back from a couple of months out west and did like Yellowstone and everything.
What's he towing it with, Carson?
So he's got like a King Ranch. It's I don't know who makes the King Ranch.
That's the big Ford.
Big Ford, yeah.
Probably a dually, maybe.
It's not a dually, but it's pretty. I don't think it's a dually.
Yeah, it's a high end. Yeah, nice, very luxurious pickup. Yeah.
He said the same thing, like you guys were saying, that he can work kind of wherever. So they went out to Yellowstone. They stayed out there for I think 6 weeks. And he said it was really crowded out there. A lot of people.
Yep.
Well, that's what Audrey just said.
Well, between homeschooling and remote working, they're just flocking to the RVs. In fact, a lot of the manufacturers finally figured it out that they ought to build a desk in these things or an office. So some of them have a separate room as an office because people are doing it. But the homeschooling thing is really big, really big. I mean, because we have so many people who can work from the road. You know what's interesting from a business standpoint? You'll see this, and you'll hear people complaining about this in Boston. It's devastating the commercial real estate market. I mean, I saw an article last week. Raytheon is going to close up a lot of buildings and a lot of office space, and they fought that for years and said, no, we can't trust them. It won't work. They won't be as productive. And when they were forced to do it, they realized that we have the technology, number one, to do it just as safely and accurately as you do in the office. And they found out that people are more productive, because would you rather spend 60 or 90 minutes on the Mass Turnpike trying to get into Boston from Framingham or Natick in the morning, and another 60 or 90 in the afternoon? Or during that 60 to 90, guess what happens? They sit their ass in a chair and they work. They do the work. So they get 3 more hours.
But
What, John?
let's not knock drive time, because one of the 4 people that are on the screen right now makes a living talking to those people
It's all right.
that are sitting in that traffic.
You're right.
I mean, you know what? Drive time has a whole new meaning right now.
Yeah, it's
And
for us, it's shifted the time. So kind of 7 to 8:30 used to be like the peak hours, and it just shifted back a little bit. So now it runs like 8 to 9:30.
as being your big hour.
Yeah, so it's just shifted it back, but we still get the same cumulative audience, whatever. Hey, gentlemen, this was awesome. I'm glad I saw it. I have to jump off because I actually have to jump on to a work call, believe it or not.
Go ahead. Hey, Carson, thanks. And we're not, don't forget, it's April 15th to 18th. We're not in January, but we booked it for April. So hopefully we'll be there live and in person.
Only if there's an appearance fee, though, right?
All right. Bruce has got a lot of money now. He sold the company the Campers Inn.
All right.
You ought to double your fees next year.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Carson.
Okay.
All right.
So, Carson, thank you so much. I just never caught your last name there.
All right,
Bob, we've got Trisha Corder Casimir. She's a first-time buyer. Trisha, hit the link. Bob, can you put that link up again? And come on with us, Trisha, if you want to. You can come on with us. Just take whatchamacallit's place. Walter, if you want to come on, you can come on too. And but Jerry, while you're on, we're waiting for these others. What's the big issue you see right now at majors coming in for service? I know you're in the parts side, but what are the big service issues at this time of year? With
it's all winterizing now.
Right. But how about any crazy stories of first timers coming in that didn't know that they had to do something to their RV, like clean the black tanks?
Yeah, clean the black tank. Yes.
Periodically.
We got a lot of questions about how the water heater works. Okay. Just simple system stuff that apparently the dealers aren't going over with us over any of the stuff with anyone that buys it. Probably because they're just too busy.
You want to hear a story, Jerry?
Yeah.
For some reason, RV Insights, our consulting company, gets listed as a service center when people search Google. So 2 or 3 times a week, I get a call from somebody who's in trouble, needs service, and fortunately, because I run the dealer association, I can usually direct them to you guys or somebody else out there. I get a call this week. The guy's got a brand new Georgetown motorhome, bought it last year, in November of last year. Didn't get any training from the dealer. Took it home, and it was in the garage or outside for the whole winter. And he just recently, this is October, tried to start it up. And obviously it doesn't run. Wait a minute. You bought it last November. It's almost a year. I said, when was the last time you drove it? He says, I never used it. He spends $126,000 for a motorhome, and it's been sitting for the year, and he wants to get he wants somebody to come out and put new batteries in it so they can list it for sale, because he's had a baby in the meantime, and he's going to sell it without ever having used it. and the batteries went dead, and probably and he had mice infestation.
Yeah. John, you remember that the one I did down in Connecticut that inspection I did in Connecticut last couple of weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was traded in on a motorhome. The guy bought it last year. It was a 2020 Cedar Creek, I believe it was. The guy bought a brand new Denali and that Cedar Creek, kept it for a year and traded it in on a motorhome because I guess he had some white knuckle experience towing the thing.
Towing it. Well, you know what? There are major differences towing a big fifth wheel than a small travel trailer.
Yeah,
And,
that was big too.
there's
Yeah.
also a difference towing a small
me-
travel trailer and moving up to a 40-foot, gas or diesel motorhome.
But I mean, it's been crazy. Inspections are crazy. I did one. A woman bought a, I don't remember what it was, a Forest River or something, Class C, just to drive her mother out to California. That's all they were doing.
Yeah.
And she was going to leave it out there with her brother.
Yeah.
Another guy on the Cape here bought one, an older unit to drive down to Louisiana, settle his mother's estate, and drive back. And that's all he was going to do with it. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
been a crazy year. Yeah.
People are buying,
Let me time out. Let me get caught up here. Frank Kate says, well, my wish list is a factory install lift kit, more storage with bigger outside access, drag bars, drag wheels at the rear frame. Airstream is sleek but low profile. Frank, you got a small Airstream. You need all that stuff on a small one?
Yeah, you should look at the at torque lift at the stable load add on to his springs.
All right, you get that, Frank? Have you been over to Majors yet? If not, get over there and see Jerry and the guys. David, Jeff, Jill, and who's in service, Linda?
Liz and Chris, and there's a new guy, Kelly.
Yep, yeah.
Yep.
See the gang over there, Frank, and get the straight scoop on that. Ed Laturco, thanks for joining us, Ed.
hey, how come Jerry has more
I don't know.
screen space than me? I'm squished in here, and Jerry's lounging on his couch.
No, I'm on the stairs.
Oh, actually, I like that. I like that layout. I like this layout better.
Yeah, I should be bigger. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I'm supposed to be co-host, and I'm getting the short end of
How's
the.
that? You can't win when I have the production.
No, you
Well, okay.
you think you're the emperor on top, and I'm supposed to be subservient to
Yes,
you?
yes.
That's not right.
So
It's just not fair, folks.
I think Walter was responding to Carson. It's going to run 300
Yes.
to 1500, depending on length circuits. 1500 would be complicated in long runs. Probably
Close.
closer to 400. Jerry, you said BRB. What was that? Is that
Be right
that-
back.
I went to get my my
Oh, that's
libation. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Be right
that's what that was.
So,
Tricia
folks-
says, yeah, you can't get parts. Tricia, as a first-time buyer, you're right. But what I would be curious, and I don't want you to name the dealer because we don't, I have 35 dealers and they're all great people and we don't all do things the right way all the time. But you're saying that you can't get parts. How would you rate? So you're a first-time buyer. So tell us what you bought. And she says she hears so much negative on brand new motorhomes, everything breaking, brand new, all that money, crappy craftsmanship. There are some that do that, but let me tell you something. And I'm not defending everybody here because we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes, he is.
And I think Jerry will back this up, as will John. Every manufacturer out there at some point in time is going to make a lemon. They're going to have a bad day. They're going to have a bad month. So it isn't any one particular model. They
Even
are
Tiffin.
handmade. They're handmade and the best of the best out there. I can show you people with $1 million buses that have problems, and I can show you people with $20,000 trailers that have problems. Jerry, would you back that up?
Yeah, even Tiffin. I ran into a guy in Texarkana while I was traveling around, was on his third trip back to Red Bay with his brand new motorhome.
Yep. Yeah. But I'd be curious, Trish, as to, and Jerry alluded to it early, and as Walter has on many occasions, how was your orientation at the dealer? Again, do not name the dealer. How was your orientation and how comfortable were you with the motorhome when you drove off the lot? And what do you wish they had taught you that you didn't learn? If you'd like to come on the program, click on that link and we'll bring you right up on the screen and we can have a conversation about it. If not, you can just put your stuff in below because we're interested in that because we do know that they're selling a lot of units and some of them are rushing through the delivery process. I've got dealers that on a Saturday are trying to deliver 15 or 20 units on a Saturday and trying to get all those customers educated and trained, and not just about the RV, but also what do you do with it when you get to the campground? and the campgrounds are the brunt. They're feeling the brunt of the lack of education that we're giving them, because they do not have something, and they've been not trained in something as simple as what we call campground etiquette, the rules of the road in the campground. Where do you go? Where do you don't go? When do you shut off that big 60-inch color TV on the outside of the motorhome that's blasting into the neighbor next door? When do who do you call when there's a problem for service? What do you do with your dog? Hopefully you clean up after your dog. There are rules, but I'd be curious as to how your orientation was with them.
Right. And Bob, another thing that we found out from Galen Bailey when we talked to him at the end of the season, with all the new campers here for the first time, he had a lot of trees and poles that were scraped as people attempted to back their travel trailers or their motorhomes into their campsite for the first time. And I think everybody who's watching us right now, either live or watching it on delay, will think of the time when they thought they had it all clear to back up, but didn't realize that there was another rear view mirror that they had to look out of and put a nice scrape down the side of their unit. Jerry, you must see that at majors all the time, especially, with the older people that come in with the bigger ones. They seem to, right around the rear wheel well is where a lot of damage is done, right, Jerry?
Yeah, the rear bumpers. And we sell probably a dozen of those King Jack antennas that get wiped off by low-hanging branches.
Oh, the new ones?
Yeah, the ones that are, because they don't go down. They're up there. They're up there constantly.
Right.
If they're located away from an air conditioner or something that's taller, they take the brunt of the impact.
They take it.
Okay.
So,
I got a surprise for everybody. Say that? What's that? Audrey says we've owned several motorhomes. We've owned several motorhomes. The 2018 rig that we bought in 2019 was the first rig we ever had a walk through from a dealership. The guy that did it with us was nice, but he knew less about our rig than we did. Not sure walkthroughs are truly helpful. Well, they should be, but sometimes they are not, especially on new stuff. But I have a surprise for everybody tonight, and I didn't even run this by John, but Walter's got a question and says, our dealer, that's a different question. Our dealer didn't even adjust the hitch height for the Fiver, and this was not at a time when there were lots of sales. Interesting. And speaking about sales, Walter had another comment. Where'd it go?
Down below.
Let me see. Walter, I thought I saw a comment that you had about, here we go. Walter says, earnings are coming in for the RV industry. Great big earnings due to COVID impacts on the dealers. So that is an impromptu into, we didn't practice this, but I got a surprise for everybody. Some of you already know about this. John and I recently, like 7 weeks ago, launched a new national program. If you remember, we had Andy Rubinowitz on the show about 2 months ago. And Andy is the CEO of what's called the RV Life Network. There are about 30 different sites and forums that they do. And he had so much fun that he called us up a couple of weeks after that, and he said, how'd you guys like to do a national program? And we said, well, that's not really nerve, but we have this consulting company that we have, RV Insights, and we could do it under that banner. So we now have, and we haven't done a media release yet. We will. We've kind of done a soft launch on it the last 7 weeks, and we just did episode 8 today, which will go live tomorrow.
Friday.
But we talked about Friday. That's right. Today's only Wednesday. Yeah. So what the format of the show is? It's about a half-hour show. Sometimes it runs 40 minutes, and John and I open it up with 10 or 12 minutes of industry news, but not from the industry standpoint. We take the industry news and relate it to the consumers. And coincidentally, and Walter didn't know this, but our segment tonight covered the earnings of LCI and Winnebago and Thor, who are having record earnings and record sales. And we relate that to the consumers and what the benefit is there. We do some my interviews tend to be product or people in the industry. John's tend to be campers and the camping experience and campgrounds. But we will.
Interesting.
And for anyone who hasn't watched it yet, it's a little bit more what do we say, structured than the podcast, and it's a completely different feel from you guys.
Yeah, and we actually did want that because it was different. It was on a national scale, so we had to have a little bit more discipline, if that's a good word for it. And I will put up the URL, and that's kind of long, so I will also post it in over here, so that if you want to check it out, you can check it out anytime. And we have our own YouTube channel. It's called the Camper Report Show, and if you haven't had enough of us on Wednesday night, you can get us on Friday or over the weekend. John, any comments on the show?
Yeah, I'm sure that
everybody didn't even know I was talking about it. Yeah,
they're grabbing their pen. But if you just go to YouTube and search the Camper Report Show, you will get right to the last 7 issues. And and Jim Convoy, look at and see, Bob, see how funny things are. Jim Convoy, we featured him on a segment on roof service. Just bought a Grand Design from Campers Inn. They did a great job in walkthrough, as well answering all questions and giving first-time tips for a fifth wheel. So Jim has been on, I think he was on like week 2 or 3, about what you should be doing to your roof to prepare it for the winter season. Now, Bob was talking potty today with his guest, and I was talking e-bikes. So the show that come out on Friday will include, tell them about your interview with the Drain Master guys.
Yeah, Doug Schwartz, the CEO and inventor of the Drain Master electric valves and also the Waste Master system, waste management system, that uses a cam lock fitting when 99.9% of every RV on the road has those little crappy cable pulls underneath in the back, and the bayonet fitting that is going to guarantee the leak at some point in time and soil the earth. So Doug is going to talk about his cam lock features that a lot of the high end, you'll find them on every Newell, but you don't want to pay $2 million for a bus, but it's available now for OEM manufacturers. So we're going to do a short segment on that and talk about that technology.
Yep. Bob, do you know who Al Robinson is?
I don't.
Before our customers, Al, tell us who you are, sir. Before our customers pick up, we ask they watch this walkthrough video, and then we give them a full walkthrough to reinforce what they watched. And you know what? Sherry Fuller does the same thing, where she tells them issues to look through when they're renting, because look, folks, when you're renting and you're picking it up at 8 o'clock in the morning, you want to be on the road at 9 o'clock at night. Your attention is not on the person giving that.
Yeah.
So
Al, tell us what dealership you're with, and if there's a particular product, because I know Mark Polk is on, and Mark has a entire walkthrough series that he sells to dealers, and they can buy special coupons to give to customers. And his advice is to watch the walkthrough before you come in for your pickup and inspection, because it will actually answer a lot of questions that you might have before you come in. But we
great.
That's Stacy's husband. Right?
Wait a minute, Bob. We have a. We need to tell our audience that Al Robinson has just been named Canadian. I think I got it right, Al. Correct me if I'm wrong. RV Dealer of the Year, either in Ontario or
Ontario.
all of Canada. And they, you know what? We talked to them during the winter when
Stacy came when we doing our Saturday night show. Stacy came on the show. Yeah.
The RVs for MDs, the RVs for MDs program, and we had his wife on the air, and the work that they did to hook up people from the medical community with RVs. In fact, they were hooking up people in New York. They're in Canada, and they're hooking up people in New York and the Northeast. So, Al, we want to thank you so much for
thanks for
from
joining.
doing
So tonight's show is international in nature. See?
Yep. Yeah.
Audrey says that's an excellent idea to have a video tutorial. Yeah, and in fact, Mark Polk's online streaming video, so you can do it at your own pace. And Al, if you never use the RV Education 101 training videos, you should check out that at rveducation101.com. I can hook you up with Dawn, and she has a special deal for dealers, and it's phenomenal. You buy like 10 or 20 coupons at a time, and then you give them to the customer before they actually come in and do. I will check out your YouTube though, because we can always learn from our friends up north. When do you think you're going to be able to come across the border? Because they still can't come, right, John?
Yeah, well, that's true. They keep putting it off. It was June 21st and July 21st and whatever. Al, the only problem with Al's videos is they're in Canadian. I don't know if people might not be able to understand them.
Geez, I could have sworn they spoke the same language that we do. We might have a little different.
No, because at the end of every sentence they say, "And this is what you do, eh?" And then you go over here, eh? And then they say, "We're going oot," and they all sound like a bunch of Bruins hockey players who are all from Ontario anyway. So great show, very informative. Sounds very interesting. Not sure we want to yet, whatever that means. Oh, not sure they want to have the borders open yet. Yeah, especially now. But all those people in Montreal that store their boats in New York couldn't use them at all this summer because they couldn't get the boats over the line. So anyway, so where we've been, we've been from
wait a minute.
Florida.
So if you did, you got Florida.
Riney's in Florida, I think.
Yep.
And the Polks are in North Carolina. And Walter, we don't know where the hell Walter is. Jim is
home.
Riney is here. Frank is here. Frank, you got to get over to Majors and find a day that Jerry's here. And Jerry, Jerry, you'll take him around, right?
Yeah. I'm there Tuesdays and Thursdays now.
Yeah.
Well, that's a tough work schedule, Jerry. I don't know. Can you handle it?
I'm retired.
Well, so am I.
Okay.
That's not a good excuse.
Go ahead. Tell us where that came from. And of course, they have the entry door on the wrong side of the bus, but that's fine. It was a freebie.
This is from my friend Neil Portnoy, who he calls this, "I have now been Portnoyed," and this image is available on a mug. And Neil is out in Las Vegas, and he developed this program because of all the devastation with the entertainers and artists being out of work. So he's drawing a lot of the artists and entertainers in Las Vegas, and he puts them on a mug, and he sells the mugs for $20, and half of the proceeds go to the fund for all these people. In fact, they may get the proceeds on their own mug. So if you absolutely have nothing else to do,
Bob, you got your mug there?
And need it, huh?
Do you have your mug there?
No, I don't. It's in the other room, but it's on a mug. You could actually go to Portnoy's site and buy it. It costs you $20, and I am not enriching myself off it, because I told them to take the 50% proceeds that I would normally get and put it back into the fund for the entertainers and performers out in Las Vegas. So that's
we're also happy to report that our friend Neil is a COVID survivor.
Yes, he went through a tough time this summer. Yeah.
Yep.
And
he was
survived and beat it.
And he made it through. And we should tell people before we leave that for those of you that are watching us live, please share it with your friends. For those of you that are watching it live but don't have time to watch the whole thing here because you want to go watch something else or you've got other things to do, remember, this is also available in podcast form so that you can listen to us when you drive in your RV or your car or your bicycle or your motorcycle, whatever, we're available to take with us wherever you want to go. So the only thing is you can't look at.
We're pushing the 8 o'clock hour. Ed Laturco says he just read a book on must-have accessories, a complete list. Send me the link to that, Ed, because I'd be curious to see what they have. But we always tell people, if you want a complete list, go to Major's RV. Number one, it'll be the complete list designed for your RV, because something that works on a motorhome may not be applicable to a trailer. But go down and see Jerry on, what did you say, Tuesdays and Thursdays or Tuesdays and Fridays?
Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm there now.
Okay. Go down and see Jerry, and he'll give you a complete list. Dante says, Ed, what is the name of the book? So Ed, can you stick the name of the book in there, or a link, and you can add that back in after the show. All right, we're pushing 8 o'clock. It went by rather quickly. Thank you, everyone. We got a ton of comments. Jerry, thanks for jumping in there, and we will see you next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Thanks, everyone. Good night. Boom.
Have a great day, everybody.
All right.